Hi, and welcome everybody. You have made it to class tonight. It is past the MBLEx, even if you failed twice. Yes, I know some people who have failed 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and it doesn't make it impossible to pass the test after you've had so many failures. That's the beautiful thing about life. No matter what obstacles come in your way, you can conquer them with some faith, with some fortitude. And I can say massage therapists are the best. Now, who am I? My name is Elmira. I am a licensed massage therapist. I reside in Georgia currently. I actually held a license in both Virginia and Tennessee, ran a massage business for 15 years because I opened my establishment in 2009, started out mobile. And then once I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, I opened a facility. I had a suite and then I expanded from there. That was 2013. And it's what brought me here today. I've had contact with so many massage therapists who have struggled. You are great at the hands-on, but for some reason, this test is a holdup. As a matter of fact, one of my friends in massage school, she had difficulty passing the test. And truth be told, she never became a massage therapist. She never got licensed because of the test. It was not her skills. Can anybody else relate? It's not your skills as a therapist. It's this test being a barrier. It's the studying, it's the thought process, it's the mindset. And it's what I help my clients with. I'm actually a tutor and a coach right now, helping various students pass the MBLEx due to my experience, because I wondered why. Why did I pass on the first try? Why all those years ago, why was I able to excel on the first attempt? Mine's was due to I had already built in some fabulous study skills. I knew what I wanted. I had a vision, and we'll hear more about this in the class today. What does it take to pass the test? A lot of you all will think, oh, I just need to know more information. No, that's not it. You definitely need to know the material, but you also need to go into it with the right mindset. I was actually having a similar conversation with one of my tutoring students on yesterday, and she demonstrated to me a realization she had a mental block, which was telling her, you cannot pass this test. You're too old. You're all of these things that come up and surface in our mind that's saying it's not for you. But the reality is, it is for you. Let's not delay. I am going to get to the presentation. But as I said, you should listen to me. Number one, I passed the test on the first try. I've helped other students do this. And number two, I have many years of expertise as a massage therapist. I understand the practical nature of this particular test. Let's hop to it. Find my present. This is like getting through is something else, I tell you. Here we go. Pass your MBLEx exam. Tonight, we will cover 7 keys to passing the test. And the first one is this: determining your vision. What is your vision? Why are you even looking to pass this test? And I've outlined it here in 5 different categories. And as we go through this material tonight, it's to inspire you, it's to encourage you to keep going, because your vision is what propels you. It motivates you. It drives you. Business, Is owning your own massage practice, your own wellness center, a part of your vision, part of your purpose? I was having a conversation the other day with my Lyft driver about purpose. And he was like, how do you find your purpose? Well, part of your purpose could be serving people through a massage business in a particular way. I've met people who've opened up a massage, like a sports massage practice, or focus on aromatherapy or prenatal. Myself, I started to do grief massage and help people after death, and not just death. It could be other types of loss, but most of my clients came to me due to death because I was trained in this area. My business was able to serve this particular population. And it was a vision of mine when I completed massage therapy school, to own my own business. I didn't want to work for anybody else. Anyone in the room can feel that. You don't want to work for other people. You want to build your own. I did just that. Is it part of your vision? Lifestyle. Perhaps you want to improve your lifestyle. Now you're working so many hours, or you're working a job you don't love, or it could be another massage position you don't love, and the MBLEx is going to take you to an expanded massage position. But what is your current lifestyle? How do you want to shift your lifestyle? And by lifestyle, I mean, do you want to travel more? Do you want to take your kids to more places? It's spring break time. Do you wish you could go these fantastic places on your spring break? You want to go to the spa more yourself. Yes, you're a massage therapist, but you don't even treat yourself. I've met so many massage therapists who do not give themselves the care they need. What are you looking forward to with your lifestyle? I'm of the philosophy you should always be growing. You should always be expanding. Don't be mediocre, or don't just, oh, because I've always done that, this is the way I want to live. No, I can say I'm living differently in 2024 than I was in, let's say, 2017. Things have improved for me. I have improved because I made a commitment to my lifestyle. Legacy. Is legacy part of your vision? You want to leave something behind for your grandchildren, your children, even I don't have children myself, but my nephews. That was a motivation for me, having them able to see their aunt build something from scratch. Me being able, and going back, I want to touch back on the lifestyle too. Part of that legacy was when I was living in Tennessee. Because of my lifestyle, I had freedom of movement due to me owning my own business, setting my own hours. I was able to go back home to Virginia to visit my nephews, to visit my mom, to visit my siblings. That's part of the legacy too. Like, look at her, look at Elmira. She gets to travel, she gets to do these things. Owning her own business, being an entrepreneur, built that legacy, and it inspires the people in your family, the people around you, your friends even, to do something better, to grow in a different way, because you are taking that leap of faith. Is part of your vision. Your vision will inspire other people too. That's the legacy part. Personal growth. You want to grow. You don't want to remain stagnant. You don't want to, like me. I was working at the DoubleTree Hotel back in, when did I quit working there? 2011. But while I was in massage school, it was my full-time position. And I committed to personal growth, because I knew I didn't want to be at that DoubleTree Hotel sitting in the sales department 8 to 5 every day for the next 10 to 20 years, like some of my coworkers who can raise their hand and say, okay, I don't want to be there. I want to grow. I want to expand. And another expansion is finances. Perhaps you're making a certain amount per year or a certain amount per week, and you're like, this is not enough. This is not supporting my family. It's not giving me the capabilities to expand my life in the way I desire to. Passing this test and having a vision of, I want to be a six-figure earner. I want my business to produce jobs for other people. Finances, finances, finances. This is something I've learned about money this past year. Money is just not this object. Money is something to fall in love with because it is a tool which allows you to do the things you love. Let me say that again. Money is a tool which allows you to do the things you love. We don't collect money. We want to increase our finances because there's things we want to do. I'm going on a cruise next month. Yeah, that is next month. It came up so quick. I'm like, oh yeah, it's May already. But it's because of the finances we were able to do that. My boyfriend funded the trip. Part of your vision, I want you to see these are 5 elements to your vision, which will assist you within passing the test. You have to have a clear path. You have to know, where am I going? Maybe one of these categories is more important than the other. Keep that vision at the forefront as you're studying. Otherwise, you're not going to be motivated. You just are going to be motivated by simply passing the test. It's your vision. Number 2 way to pass this test: examine your testing beliefs and your mindset. What do you currently believe about passing the test? This is some of the stuff I've heard from students, and even I said this stuff. I'm too old. It's hard. I can't do it. There's too many things to study. I can't remember all these muscles. Yeah, I learned it in school, but now it's test time and I'm freaking out. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. It's been too long since I graduated massage school. I already failed. There's no way I can pass this test. Imagine if everybody said that and continued to tell yourself these things. No, you have to switch these beliefs and say, this is easy. I can do it. My experience as a massage therapist, my life experience is why I can pass this test. I have one of my students. She's actually been a massage therapist for almost 30 years, I believe. And she's taken the test for the first time because she wants to move to a different state. And she explained to me, she's like, Elmira, I would not be able to do this without you, because otherwise the belief says I'm too old, I've been out of school so long. But it's her life experience. She knows the answers to everything on this test because she's lived it. Imagine 30 years of doing massage therapy. She's done this. This is not simply all of things written on a paper. This experiences she has had with clients. And why my students excel, and why students in general excel on this test, is a positive mindset. As many times as possible during your study process, during your week, you have to speak life. You have to let yourself know, I'm going to pass this test. I am going to excel on this test. Not only am I going to get that 630, I'm going to get a 700. You have to know, you have to go into this test with an inner knowing, an inner confidence, and build your confidence. And part of this confidence comes from, here's a tip: watch videos of people on YouTube who have passed the test. I caution you from paying attention to people who failed the test. No, listen to the people who passed the test. They're going to give you some keys. They're going to give you some insight. They're going to give you things they did not expect to see when they went to the testing center that day. Listen to those videos, and you can easily pull them up on YouTube in case you already haven't. pull them up, watch them. They're going to build your confidence. They're going to build your positive mindset. They're going to build your belief. Every time you study, put your vision on your paper, write it on your paper. Say, I'm studying today because my business is going to be the bomb. I'm opening up my wellness center. I am studying today. I am passing this test today for my children, for Jody, who's 5 years old. Whatever your vision is, put that at the forefront of each of your study sessions. You're gonna win every time, believe you me. Key number 3, know the test. It's important to have a greater understanding of this test. Where does this test even arrive from? Who created the test? I'll tell you. The Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards designed this MBLEx exam. You can use them as a resource. I'll put that in the chat later, but for those of you watching the replay, the website is fsmtb as in boy.org. There's tons of resources on the website, practice exams, different things, because why not go to the source that created the test? There's so many other things, and we'll discuss some of them tonight too. AMTA, AMBP, but go to the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards. This test has 100 questions. And they give you 110 minutes to complete the 100 questions. Here's my recommendation. Simulate the 100 questions as often as possible. For example, if your test date is in 3 months, take a practice test of 100 questions right now, once a month, to see where you are, to gauge where you are, because some of you, and you can let me know in the chat, some of you have testing anxiety, and the last thing you want to do is only practice doing 10 questions at a time or 20 questions at a time. You never sit down with 100 questions. I was actually explaining this to a student yesterday. You can experience testing fatigue if you go on test date and you're like, oh my goodness, this is too long. I don't think I'm going to get to the 100 questions, because you never practice it. The thing to do is to know the test and practice the test as often as possible. Put yourself in an environment where you have to sit down and complete 100 questions in a limited amount of time. I'm telling you, it works. This test is also it's a computer adaptive test. And what that means is, on your first question, it'll give you a question of medium difficulty. And based on whether you get that question right or wrong, they will give you your next question. Let's say you get the question right. That means question number 2 will be of a higher difficulty, because they know Elmira knows this. John, I see you, John. John knows this question. Let's give him something a little harder. And the questions of greater difficulty give you more points, because the goal on this exam is to achieve a 630. You just need a minimum of 630 to pass this exam. And in terms of percentages, that's between 70 and 75%. For those of you who want to know, what does that break out into? Now we're going to delve into the individual categories, because it's important to be aware of what are the categories and what is the percentage split on the test. Anatomy and physiology is only 11%. It is the smallest portion of the exam. Don't spend a whole lot of time just only focusing on anatomy and physiology, because it is not the majority of the test. ethics, boundaries, laws, and regulations. These are going to be anything. What do you do if somebody is displaying sexual behavior, scope of practice, all of those things? 16% of the exam. Kinesiology, anything with the movement of the body, is 12% of your exam, and that runs right neck and neck with the anatomy and physiology. You're gonna have to know, how do these muscles move? What does the circulatory system do? The integumentary system. You'll have to know these movements. Next, professional practice guidelines is 15%. For some of you, I know this can be an easy area because it's more practical, particularly for us. Who's a kinesthetic learner in the room? That you learn by doing. I think most of us are as massage therapists, otherwise we would not be in this profession. But that's 15% of the exam is professional practice guidelines. The benefits and physiological effects of massage is also 15%. This goes into how can massage benefit someone with ulcer or scoliosis. You got to study all of that stuff. And finally, client assessment and treatment is 17%. In totality, you need to know it all. You need to know all these categories and how they relate to each other. I was having this conversation earlier this week with a student, and we are currently focusing on the medical terminology. And I was explaining to her, the reason we're starting with medical terminology is it helps you with the anatomy. It helps you with the kinesiology too, because, for example, subscapularis, you know that's beneath or under the scapula just by the sake of the prefix sub. All of these categories are important, and study them. Go into this test with just a greater knowledge of, this is what I'm studying. This is going to be the percentage, the likelihood of me seeing a question of this type. The ATMA app, the MBLEx app, really breaks this down well for you, because you can start to identify which of these categories is your weakest area. The app will allow you to create practice quiz, practice test based on your weakest area, because you want to build that muscle. You definitely want to build that more than anything else. If pathology is your weakest area, go there. Speaking of pathology and contraindications, 14%. This is special populations, different conditions, eczema, HIV, autoimmune diseases. What would be a local contraindication? All of these things, all of these elements would be in the pathology and contraindication. I did not mean to leave you out, pathology. You are so important. Key 4, use a variety of study materials. Do not just rly on one book, one textbook, the collection of textbooks you got from your massage school. Look at different things. Practice questions from various resources. There's an MBLExstudyguide.com. There are different study books. You have I mentioned it already, you have things from your massage school. What materials did you use last time? Did they work? Did you find the materials you used last time, were they helpful, or were they a detriment? Maybe they didn't help you so much, so now you investigate additional study materials. Make sure your study materials are current. They are up to date. 2023, 2024, because the test does change over time. It's going to be similar. However, make sure your study materials are up to date and reflecting what you will actually see on your exam. Use your massage school as a resource. Perhaps you're still in contact with some of your massage instructors. Get with them. They may have some additional things. They may be able to connect you with other students from your class or from the school. They may even allow you to sit in on a current class as a refresher. You never know, but the variety is key. Do not only depend on your flashcards. Flashcards are helpful because it assists with the instant memorization and you can easily go through them. Make your own flashcards. I definitely encourage you to make your own flashcards. Yes, you can purchase them. However, when you create them yourself, you are connecting that memory, you're connecting with your brain. Your hand brain connection is saying, okay, I'm sitting here writing out all this medical terminology. I'm writing out the actions, the origins, the insertions. You wrote it, so you're going to know it. You're first going to know it by scripting it, writing it, and then you're going to get a deeper understanding each time you use the flashcards, each time you flip them over. And there's also flashcards online on the MBLExguide.com. They have flashcards you can do on your computer. Just don't depend on the flashcards on the computer because they're not comprehensive. They don't have all of the information necessary. And it can be easy to get overwhelmed because you're thinking, okay, I got all this study material. What do I do with it? Simply select 5 areas to start with, 5 things to start with. One could be the video lessons you pull up on YouTube or you get from another source. Second, audio lessons or podcasts. One of my students is listening to podcasts to help her understand this information further. Apps. Use the apps on your phone. You have the MBLEx, the AMTA study app, you have anatomy apps. I mean, it runs the gamut. The beautiful thing about 2024 is we have way more resources than I did when I took the test back in 2008. Yes, it's been that long. You have lots more resources, which helps you get your hands on this material in an easier fashion. You can start with your book. Start with studying the book and print out a study guide. Print out study guides to help you. Here are some of the resources. Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards. Again, website fsmtb.org. Well-Known Reyes is a YouTube channel. He has amazing things on there. He answers your questions. I looked at his Etsy page too. On his Etsy page, you can order flashcards, and these flashcards are not your typical size. Some of them are full page, 8.5 by 11, because on the one I saw, one side he has all the muscles, and on the opposite side you fill in the blank and it's dry erase, and then you just flip it over to see how accurate you are. Well-Known Reyes, beautiful resource. David Merlino test prep book. How many in the room now have that test prep book? I know a lot of people have it, and it's amazing because you can get everything. It's concise. You can study everything in that book. But again, just don't rely on the prep book. Look at videos too. Listen to the podcast. Use your apps. The MBLEx study guide. I mentioned that earlier. I love that because they take you through practice quizzes, and they give you checklists and all kinds of stuff. AMTA, AMBP, YouTube videos. YouTube videos are your friend. Can y'all put some of the YouTube channels that you watch in the chat. Let me know. What are YouTube channels? Because I actually discovered this YouTube channel where the guy has a muscle song and he wears the entire skin tight muscle suit and he's going through describing this is what the deltoid does, this is what the latissimus dorsi. It's inventive, it's exciting, and it's another way to grasp this information from his song, from his video, because we have to have this information coming at us from a variety of directions. That's how the brain works. It repetition and variety. Point 5, customized study plan. You must have a study plan that works for you. I cannot stress this enough. And you'll have to create it, or you can create it with someone like me, a tutor. What are the specific days you want to study? Maybe you're off on Tuesdays and Fridays, and you'll make Tuesday morning and Friday late afternoon your study days for a few weeks. Make it a plan. Don't haphazardly say, oh, I'm just going to study when I get to it. No, make a detailed plan, specific times. What times work for you? Are you best in the morning? Are you best in the middle of the night? I know when I was in college, I was just a night owl. I would stay up studying. Anybody else? That's you. You would stay up studying, even in massage school, I can say, because massage school, I attended night classes from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. after my full-time job. And some nights I would stay up. It had to do it. It was the only time I could study, but work out what are the specific times you want to study. Are you going to do it on the weekends? Figure that out. Do 30-minute increments work for you? 60-minute increments. I never tell anybody to sit down for 2 hours at a time. It's just not going to work. After a certain amount of time, you're not really studying anything. You're just sitting there. like literally, you're not accomplishing anything at all. Week by week, what does your plan look like? You're 3 months out from your test now. How many days a week are you studying? Now you're 2 months out from the test date. How many days a week are you studying? Which days? Now you're 1 month out. You're 1 week out. What does that look like? What is your plan? Focus area of study. Will you begin the first week with medical terminology or pathology? You saw the categories earlier. It's a good idea to take each of those categories and split them up into, and now this all depends on how much time you have, but if you have a lot of time, you can dedicate 1 to 2 weeks on each subject, on each category, and then rotate. You could still have more time. Go back and study those. And meanwhile, you're also doing the practice questions. Don't just simply study the material. Oh yeah, I know what this does. I know what this body system does. I know what this muscle does. Yeah, I know the movements. Yes, I'm familiar with the ethics and the laws and the regulations. But you need to simulate the test. You also need to know it in a real life situation of this test, being presented with multiple choice. Because for some of you, multiple choice is actually more challenging than answering a question flat out. Practice that. You have to practice answering the multiple choice question. What's going to be your focus area study again? What do you need in your study plan? You may need a quiet area. You may want to play music. You might need to go to the library. I was at the library earlier this week and people were there studying. I had to go to get my passport and was waiting. Maybe you want to go to the library to get out of the house. Starbucks, Panera, all of these places are a possibility. Can you study in these environments? Ask yourself that. What's the part of your plan? Can you study in your bedroom? Do you need to be at a table? Do you want to be more relaxed or more structured? Create your study plan based on the materials you decide to include. Let me give you an example. You want to use the app and you want to use David's book. Start with that and say, okay, I'm studying 2 days this week. One day I'm gonna focus on this area in the book, and then I'm going to spend 30 minutes of practice questions on the app. Next day, I'm going to spend an hour in the book, and then I'm going to do 4 practice quizzes in the app. You have a plan. You need a plan. Don't go into this again. I can't say it enough. Don't go into this haphazardly, because this is why we fail, because we don't have a detailed plan and our vision is not at the forefront either. Even with the plan, we're not keeping our vision as number one. Make a checklist. Your checklist helps you to see your progress. How are you progressing week by week? What have you studied? What have you learned? What were some weak areas 3 weeks ago, but now you're like, yes, I got this. I wasn't doing so well with the muscles of the lower extremities. Now I'm more familiar. I can recall that information easier. I can recall this pathology information easier. Make a checklist. You can get a whiteboard to do this. Whiteboard, do it in a notebook, a specific notebook. Track your progress, track what you studied. The AMTA MBLEx app actually tracks that for you too. It will tell you, these are your missed questions. These are the days. It has a little calendar at the top and it states, these are the days you took a practice quiz, and you'll be able to see, oh my goodness, I didn't take a practice quiz in 3 days. Let me hop to it because I told myself part of my study plan is to do the practice quizzes 4 days a week, and I only did it one. What's going on? When you track it, you're able to see your improvement. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Number 6, hire a tutor. Me, I am available for hire. I've been assisting many students and helping them pass the test, because a tutor will hold you accountable to your study plan. Many times, has this been you? Many times you told yourself, just like with going to the gym, working out, eating right, all of these things, I'm gonna do it next week, or I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, but you don't do it. A tutor is a coach. And I'm actually both a tutor and a coach. You get the best of both worlds. A tutor can see your blind spots. They can see when you are stressed or you're fatigued, and then feed some motivation into you. They're going to give you assignments to do, which challenge you, and you'll have to bring it to the next tutoring session. You're going to be challenged because as a tutor, I can say, I want you to excel. I want you to pass this test. And it requires some pushing you beyond your limits, pushing you past what you think you can do. A tutor helps you organize the material and prepare for your unique personality, your unique learning style. You got auditory. I can give you some instruction on that. If you're a kinesthetic learner, I can give you instruction on that as well. And it really helps those who've been out of school for a while, because you may have been out of school 5 years, 10 years. I have some students who've been out for 10 years, and it's a challenge to get back to the paper, the book. Oh my, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to read this book again. Once you've been out in the real world, so to speak, and now you have to go back to class, you can feel lost. A tutor helps you get back on track. And it's one-on-one as well. You don't have the distraction of other students, other people's learning style, interruptions. You're getting that focused attention on what you really need that day. And because I'm both a coach and a tutor, I can address some mindset stuff or family issues, anything. And these are things that have come up during the session because all of these things are affecting you, your performance on the test. Think about it. Maybe one of the times you failed, it was due to a death, or somebody in your family or friend group really was not supporting your vision. You need to be around people who feed into you positively, and getting yourself a tutor is of the utmost important. I'll put my link here for you shortly, and that way you can hire me. You can hire me for a session as you prepare for the test, or I have some people who just want a refresher, like one session right before the test, maybe a week or two before the test, and you want to ensure you know things. You can do either way. Have me throughout the course of your studying, or have me as that one little pick me up right before you take the test. Our final thing is to treat it like a game. Even though this is serious, this is our ticket to more money. This is our ticket to opening our business. This is a ticket to greater legacy, a better lifestyle, all of these great, amazing things. It's not that serious. When we add the fun element into it, it makes it playful. It makes it like a game. Treat this like basketball, like volleyball, like baseball. You're making shots each time you answer a question accurately. It's like a shot in the basketball goal. You can have a basketball goal set up during your study sessions, mind you. Sing. I mentioned earlier the video where the guy sings the muscles. You can come up with your own songs about this information, and not just about the information, songs in general, which help to motivate you. Make a playlist, a study playlist, something you can play to motivate you. You can also have a playlist during your study session. What do you study best with? Could be classical, could be jazz, could be binaural beats, whatever you want to use. Relax, take breaks, take dance breaks. I like to dance. I like to move. Matter of fact, I did my yoga this morning. I woke up first thing this morning and did my Kundalini yoga. For a while, I didn't want to get out the bed, but I did it anyway. I did it. Movement, adding some movement to your day, to your life in general, is going to help you treat this like a game, because you'll feel more motivated. You release those endorphins, get that oxytocin flowing, relieves stress, all of it. Gotta cheer yourself up, gotta celebrate your wins, encourage a winner's mindset, because you are a winner. You're not a loser, you're a winner. And when you're playing the game, you won the game, right? You didn't lose. I already go into this test knowing I won this. I won this game, no doubt. I know everything on this anatomy. I know everything on this kinesiology. I know it all. Yes, I know it all because we're studying to meet our vision. Going back to the vision, what is yours? take a moment to reflect on your vision, write it down. Make sure you are perfectly clear about where you want to go. What's your ultimate goal in passing this test? What is this exam going to mean for you? I'm going to stop this share right now and put in a couple of things for you in the chat. This is the link to book your tutoring session. And for those of you watching the replay, I've included it in your email message. Right now, because we probably have a few more minutes. Just want to give you a tour of some of these resources I mentioned. This is the MBLEx guide available at mblexguide.com. This is free. You can download this study plan for free. It's got so many things in it. The table of contents, you have the MBLEx overview, how to use the study plan, study tips. Let's go to some of these additional study tips because we covered some tonight. Oh, let me scroll back up because I saw something of importance. This study has a session completion checklist. As you complete a session, go through and see your progress. All 90. You can keep track of your scores too. All right, study tips. Set aside consistent days and times. We already talked about that. Customize the plan for you. Start with an initial self-assessment. I talked about that. A self-assessment of the actual exam too, the 100 questions. Take handwritten notes. I was telling somebody last week to take notes of the videos that she watches on YouTube. It's not enough to listen to the videos. You have to write it out. That assists with your recall, that assists with your memory as you're taking. It's active learning, it's an active learning strategy. Limit your sessions. Some of you all, 90 minutes is even too long. You may have to limit your sessions to 30 minutes. Self-care. I am the queen of self-care. Talked about dancing, having fun with this test. That's what it's all about. Create a dedicated study space and take several full-length practice exams as part of your test prep. It is ideal to space them apart. Try to simulate the actual test conditions as closely as possible. This study plan is an excellent resource because it just covers so much. Each of these is an individual session and it splits apart in what muscles you would cover in this session, pathology, and it's lesson one. It outlines, and you move on to lesson 2, lesson 3. It's amazing. This particular study plan tells you what to do. Use it. Download your own copy because some of the things on this particular site are paid, but this study guide is free. It's free. Okay, let's stop that share. I want to show you the website here. We talked about, can everybody see that? Okay, yeah, okay. We talked about the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards. This is their website. On the menu, examination, go to MBLEx study tools. Most of these study tools are paid, but you're an investment. You want to pay to pass this test. Official MBLEx e-study guide is $35. This is another study guide with a 100-question practice exam. It gives you a breakdown of all the major content areas covered on the test. This is $40, $39.95. MBLEx check. This is the one I highly recommend. It's an online readiness assessment for $25. All of these wonderful tools on, there's this item writing guidelines too. All of this, check out the website. Is there another? I believe that's it. That was all of the websites I wanted to show. To wrap up this session today, the biggest thing is examine your mindset around taking this test and the vision. What is propelling you forward? What is your motivation for taking this test? Go back and really determine that. What's your biggest motivation for taking this test? Because it's going to help you to pass this time. You do not have to fail. You do not have to be like other people. And like my friend I mentioned in the beginning, she never became a massage therapist. She ended up going into some other career path that she shouldn't have to because she simply could not pass the test. Hire a tutor. You have my information. I'm here to help. Use my expertise. And even if you don't hire me, get assistance because you tried it alone already. Now it's time to get some help. We all can benefit from help. I was one of those people too, Miss Independent, who never wanted to ask anybody for anything, didn't want to ask them for a ride to the store, for money, for food, just anything. It could be help me clean my house or help me with my business. I didn't want to ask for help, but it was when I started asking for help and I received the help, I excelled and I got there quicker too. Everything worked out better. Plus, I was able to form a relationship with the people who helped me. If there are not any other questions or comments, we're going to close out and I will see some of you at your tutoring session. Have a fabulous day. Okay, bye.